Have you ever heard a land acknowledgement statement delivered in a conference, community gathering, festival, or concert? Indigenous land acknowledgement, or the practice of recognizing Indigenous past, present, and future of a particular location, is growing in popularity. While popular, land acknowledgement unfortunately can be problematic. Sometimes when crafting land acknowledgement statements, non-Indigenous folks ask Indigenous people and communities to do free emotional labor. In addition, it's easy for land acknowledgement to become yet another form of optical allyship. Statements often lack the call to action and next steps. Without these components, they're just empty words that don't tangibly help Indigenous communities. Instead of spending time on a land acknowledgement statement, try creating an action plan. Your action plan will highlight the concrete steps you plan to take to support Indigenous people into the future. To create an action plan that's specific, accurate, and impactful, follow these steps. First, do an assessment. Are any of your current behaviors causing harm to Indian country? If so, hold yourself accountable for changing them in your plan. Next, do a resource assessment. What resources can you personally provide to support Indigenous people and nations? For example, can you set aside money each month for a recurring donation to an Indigenous organization? Do you have time to show up to an Indigenous-led protest? You also need to do some research. Yes, you heard that right. Writing an action plan instead of a land acknowledgement does not mean you're off the hook for doing your homework. Get familiar with what's happening in your area and how you can help. Investigate questions such as, what is the Indigenous history of the land I occupy? What Native nation is located closest to me? What Native-led organizations and nonprofit operate in my area? Once you've done this work, it's time to connect the dots. Look for points of alignment between your resource assessment and your research. Use the alignment to outline steps with measurable actions. For example, you might determine that you have time to show up to Indigenous-led protests and events. And you might have discovered that community members are currently convening to protest the installation of a new pipeline on Indigenous land. Your action step then could say, I will attend the upcoming pipeline demonstration at the state capitol and attend at least 3 other related events per year. When your plan is complete, go public. Share your action steps with your friends, family, and neighbors. Tell your community that you are committed to supporting Indigenous people. Challenge people and organizations in your life to create their own plan. Keep your action plan somewhere handy too. Your plan doesn't belong in a drawer. Print it out and put it on the fridge. Store it in the notes section of your phone. Put it somewhere that will help you see it regularly. Remember to reflect on your progress. Your action plan is an ongoing commitment. From time to time, check on your plan. How many of your action steps have you actually completed? Don't be afraid to update your assessments and your plan if you're making any major life changes. And finally, stay humble. Your learning does not stop at your action plan. All of us always have room to grow and more to do. For additional tips on creating an action plan, along with ideas for action steps and a sample plan, visit nativegov.org.